Rusted yellow Ferris wheel, standing entirely still against a gray sky, has become the universal symbol for a lost future. This is Pripyat, the ultimate abandoned time capsule. Its haunting, post-apocalyptic atmosphere is so striking that it directly inspired countless horror games, films, and massive communities dedicated to exploring urban ruins. Walk through the ruins today, and you will step over school notebooks, scattered children's toys, and Soviet propaganda posters, all slowly turning to dust beneath collapsing ceilings. The defining mystery of these empty streets is that no bomb ever dropped here. No invading army marched through the town square. A population of tens of thousands vanished, displaced entirely by an invisible force. But to truly understand why this site remains history's most terrifying ghost town, we have to look past the decay and see what the city looked like just hours before its death. In 1985, Pripyat defied the standard stereotypes of the Soviet bloc. It was wealthy, modern, and built specifically to showcase Soviet prosperity. The streets were filled with young, brilliant engineers and their new families. In fact, the average age of a resident here was only 26 years old. To keep this youthful population happy, the state provided highly advanced civic amenities, including modern cinemas, sprawling swimming pools, cafes, and massive sports centers. Yet this entire utopian lifestyle had a strict condition. It was entirely tethered to the massive churning engines of the nearby Chernobyl Nuclear Power Plant. That facility housed 4 active RBMK reactors. These were colossal machines utilizing powerful, highly complex graphite moderators to sustain nuclear fission. What the young engineers working there did not know was that Soviet authorities were actively hiding severe, fatal design flaws within the very machinery powering their homes. Combining highly concentrated youthful optimism with extreme, untested nuclear power created a fragile bubble, and soon it was about to burst. At 1:23 a.m. on April 26, 1986, engineers initiated an experiment to see if the turbines could maintain power during a total blackout. Looking at this cross-section of the RBMK core, mechanical failure unfolds. As operators disabled safety systems, internal pressure spiked violently. A massive steam eruption obliterated the reactor's 1,000-ton roof. This sustained, graphite-fueled fire spent days lifting a continuous plume of lethal isotopes into the atmosphere. Above the destroyed reactor, intense radiation ionized the surrounding air, creating an eerie, glowing blue beam of light. It was an invisible death ray that mesmerized the uninformed first responders pulling up to the scene. The blast destroyed the machine, but the government's decision to bury the truth is what transformed an industrial failure into a mass human tragedy. The very first firefighters to arrive on the chaotic scene were told they were just fighting a standard roof fire. They walked directly onto chunks of radioactive graphite in standard uniforms, completely devoid of radiation protection. Inside the halls of government, the immediate strategy was denial. Authorities deliberately delayed public announcements, desperately trying to avoid panic and save their political standing. So, while the reactor burned, mourning broke over Pripyat. Children played outside in sandboxes, families ran their Saturday errands, living completely normal lives, all under an invisible shower of radioactive ash. The cost of that silence is still measurable. Today, one of the most radioactive locations in Pripyat is the hospital basement. The radiation levels remain dangerous there because it still holds the highly contaminated clothing stripped from those doomed first responders. Government pride robbed thousands of families of the critical hours they needed to safely escape, trapping them in a lethal environment. On April 27th, 1,200 buses lined up in the city streets. Authorities told residents the evacuation was only temporary, leading families to leave behind their pets, their furniture, and their entire lives. That brand new amusement park, built specifically for the upcoming May Day celebrations, never saw a single official ride. The human aftermath stretched for decades. The disaster caused mass forced displacement, immense psychological trauma, and a tragic surge in severe, long-term radiation illnesses, particularly thyroid cancer in children. Yet, the exclusion zone holds a surprising ecological legacy. In the absolute absence of human interference, wildlife has reclaimed the contaminated ruins. Wild horses, wolves, and foxes now roam freely through the decaying city center. The internet is filled with conspiracy theories about paranormal activity or mutated monsters lurking in the woods. But none of that is real. The true terror of Chernobyl is entirely grounded in reality. It is a story of fatal engineering flaws, unchecked human arrogance, and a bureaucracy that prioritized its own image over human lives. Pripyat's empty streets remain a permanent, chilling record of the risk of human progress when it is built on a foundation.